So in the month of October, we introduced the kids to a great series of lessons that if you've not tried them out, if you need to fill in more lessons than I'm supplying, let's say that you see your kids twice a week or 3 times a week, I highly recommend Fun with Composers. A good friend of mine, Deb, who lives in in Canada, up on the West Coast, she has created this wonderful, wonderful series of classical music activity based called Fun with Composers, where the kids will internalize the themes to famous classical pieces, orchestral pieces. The recordings are wonderful. They are ORF based. You're using classroom instruments, storytelling. It goes right in line with my style of teaching. And if you are enjoying Freddie and this style of teaching, then it probably lines up with yours as well too. So the first lesson in October is The Marriage of Figaro. And if you do not own the Fun with Composers collection, she also offers one lesson at a time. So I highly recommend checking that out and downloading the recording to go along with the lesson. And I have her permission to share it because it's a great way to test it out. But all of her lessons are wonderful, and she has something for everything. There's a kindergarten through 3rd grade level, and then there's a 4th grade through 6th grade level, I believe. So, explore those. So that's the first lesson. The second lesson in October is making sure the kids, through a fun way, Freddie wants to play Name That Tune. And when he plays Name That Tune, it's actually the tune of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, or Baa Baa Black Sheep, or the alphabet song. And then he shakes his head. You'll see in the videos, but, that's not right. And the kids are like, what? We know our alphabet. And so you kind of play that up, and he wants to sing his alphabet, because on Treble Clef Island, they only have 7 letters in the alphabet. Did you know that? And he wonders if the kids, when they came to music, would sing his alphabet song, which we then named Freddie's Alphabet. So when they come to music, they sing Freddie's Alphabet, which of course we all know is the music alphabet. And if they're in their classroom, and I talk about this with kindergarten, so in your kindergarten room, sing our alphabet, but if we're in the music room, would you mind singing Freddie's Alphabet? And they buy into it. It's wonderful, and we're really establishing the 7 letters of the music alphabet by calling it Freddie's Alphabet. So the lesson on the second lesson in October is the Freddie's Alphabet, how to play Name That Tune, and lead the kids to that discovery. This is really key for the kids. It's going to be a piece of tying in their understanding of how the music alphabet works in relationship to pitched instruments on the piano, in the reading. So it's a very essential piece. So if you don't have time to do it in October, or you have something else going on, this is one of those lessons you definitely want to come back to. And I highly recommend doing this lesson before you introduce the Bass Clef Monster Storybook. And yes, I introduce all Freddie storybooks, especially the first 4, Thump in the Night, Secret of Crater Island, Mysterious Wahoo, and the Bass Clef Monster at kindergarten. We revisit it in 1st grade, we revisit in 2nd grade, we revisit it for the last time in 3rd grade, unless they demand it when they're older, which many of them do. And in 3rd grade, we're transitioning. Do not do 1 book per year. Don't do Thump in the Night in kindergarten and expect them to remember everything to 1st grade and then wait and do the Secret of Crater Island in 1st grade. You're going to lose a lot of potential for learning. Do each of those stories in kindergarten and then come back and revisit them in 1st grade. You're establishing a vocabulary that ties into everything else you do, right? When you watch my video clips, you will see how I do that. So you're going to introduce all the stories to kindergarten at their level, and that includes bass clef. They can handle it if we deliver it the right way. It's all the story to them, and remembering the stories, right? It really helps them. So that's the Freddie's Alphabet is really essential. If you can't do it in October, make sure that you do it soon or sometime. Have it in your plans. And then when you do the Bass Clef Monster story, and then they will discover, oh, there's Freddie's Alphabet in the back 2 pages, and let them discover that. And then we can sing Freddie's Alphabet song and play little games with that. Then, and if you own my Beyond the Books, you'll see more lessons as well that go along with it, as well as some teaching tools. Then, after they have experienced The Secret of Crater Island, which is coming up in November, I think earlier I said October, we're in October now, in November, when you introduce The Secret of Crater Island, then that's a great time to have them review all the pieces of those 3 stories with a grand staff visual, and let them fill in the different pieces of the story and do it in that diagonal line that you always see that music alphabet in. And they will then see that Freddie's alphabet repeats, and they can see it going from and through the grand staff. And it just makes sense to them when it's delivered like that. Then it's a tool that they can use for their own skills and understanding. So those are really essential. If you don't do them in October, make sure that you plan it in your lessons to do it sometime soon, and so that they get those concepts. So October starts off with an introduction to the Marriage of Figaro, a classical listening piece. If you had to skip one due to whatever situation you're in, I would skip the Marriage of Figaro one. Is that when you can skip and it's not going to hurt any sequence of learning, and then go right on into the Freddie's alphabet. Then the next lesson be the Bass Clef Monster Story book. And then the 4th lesson that I have is a sticks lesson. It'll be the first sticks lesson of the year. And yes, I use it at kindergarten, 1st grade and 2nd grade. The questions that I ask the kids is what changes what I ask them to do. And you will see that in detail in each of the lesson plans. Those questions align with their grade level, grade specific level development. And it aligns with the Common Core State Standards. That's why I'm choosing the questions that I am. They're specific to their grade level. That is documented with the specific codes in the digital download of those lesson plans for each grade level. So the sticks lesson is the 4th lesson in October, and I chose Pumpkin Fat, which is a singing game where they're standing in a there's a demonstration video so you can see it in action, but it's where they're in the circle, they're in partners, and they're moving around, and they're trading partners, and it's magical for them because at the end of the song they end up with their original partner if they did it correctly. But the real magic then is, for the music education, is after they've learned that game, then they can take it to the floor with popsicle sticks, and you can really see their understanding. Now, this is assuming that you did the Mysterious Wahoo book in September, and they have that as a baseline vocabulary. So they already understand that there's 4 things in a box or in a measure, and what a TT or 2/8 notes looks like, a ta, a quarter note looks like, what a quarter rest looks like, and I always use 3 sticks instead of 4. Whatever you establish, just keep it consistent. And the videos, I think, will describe this more. So the essential lessons in October are the Freddie's alphabet, and then the Bass Clef Monster Story, and then the Pumpkin Fat Sticks game would be your next most important. And then if you need to skip one, you could skip Marriage of Figaro. But it's a gem if you have time to do it. If not, then that's something that you could just stick away and come back and do someday when you need an extra lesson. So that's up to you. So that's October.